All right, is everyone seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome, thank you. Well, perfect. Thank you for joining us for our kickoff webinar for the AFA Leaders Conference. So excited that everyone is able to join us. And for those of us that aren't able to join us, you'll be listening to this following. So thank you for listening. Just during this short time that we have together, I'm just going to walk through the preliminary itinerary, and Chelsea is going to add some color of kind of who we're looking for to engage on your team for all of the different sessions and the different engagement opportunities. We'll go through the calendar of important dates, the cancellation policy that's new this year, and then our travel information and our agenda. And this was sent out within the last couple of weeks. You might check your inbox, as well as the session descriptions that will be outlined in here, so you can follow along. Of note, for those of you that do have a board of director on the AFA, your preliminary itinerary will look a little different, but the engagement opportunities will be the same, but your itinerary will reflect your board of directors schedule also. So just wanted to give that forewarning. All right, so first and foremost, here is our calendar of important dates. If you haven't already, we recommend putting this in your calendar, but main thing, these are just high level dates just to be thinking about. September 1st, you'll receive a registration link, and this is specifically for those that are our main contact at your organization. So for example, Elizabeth or Merck will have will receive the registration link. Something new that we're doing this year is that we're incorporating Salesforce and it's a platform by Salesforce called Blackthorn. And so there's only one registration link for the whole team. Only one registration is needed for your whole team. So that main contact will register all of your team members. But you'll receive that September 1st. Chelsea, are you able to add people in the lobby?
Yep.
Thank you. Cool. And hello to whoever, I can't see who, for some reason I can't see. I don't have that capability up right now, but also September 1st, you'll receive a link from Fern. This is for the opportunity fair. So any direction or any questions or concerns about Fern, their information's here on the preliminary itinerary. We can also get you in contact too if you have any question about the opportunity fair. October 1st is when the registration is due and the hotel rooming block closes. And we'll talk a little bit more about the adjustment timeline between October 1st and October 7th with the cancellation policy a couple pages later. October 10th, we will send you a partner assessment form. So the purpose of this is to collect information on the type of student that you want to have breakfast with during your partner breakfast. And we need that by October 13th down here. And this helps us pair you with students, and specifically the students you want to be paired with. We'll also send you a list of the students attending conference that have interned in your organization. So additional information will be sent out during that time. And we need the assessment by October 13th. Moving on to the next page, October 27th. This is, yes.
Can I add just a little bit more on that partner assessment? So on October 10th, like Mercedes mentioned, you're going to be getting an email pertaining potentially a previous list of interns who have worked for your company who are now attending Leaders Conference. That's only if they're attending Leaders Conference. So you might get some interns, you might not. In regards to the partner assessment, it takes about 5 minutes to complete. And essentially that is a great way for us to really understand the type of student you're wanting to be connected with at Leaders Conference, paired, if you will. So on that sheet, we'll ask you questions like, these are the different universities represented. Select your top 5 that you would like to be connected with. Here are some majors, select your top 5, that sort of thing. What kind of class status are you looking to connect with, whether it's a freshman or a senior? So it takes about 5 minutes to complete that assessment. We do that on your side. We also, on the back end, go to our students and let them know, here are all the partner organizations you can be paired with and have a partner breakfast with on Saturday. they rank order, and they let us know, here are the top 5 organizations I'm really interested in. We ask them that information because we want to make sure the students we're pairing you for your partner breakfast want to be there. They have an interest, and they have some questions that they need answered. And so we kind of do some matchmaking on the back end from the student's perspective, and then of course your perspective, to really get those students to your partner breakfast in particular. We'll also be sending the information of who's attending your partner breakfast about 2 weeks ahead of Leaders Conference, just to give you a heads up of who the students are, what majors they're representing, what universities, etc. But we'll also ask them a series of questions of Merck, for example. You'll be paired with Merck. What kind of information are you hoping to learn? Are you interested in internships? Are you interested in their strategic direction in 2022? Like, and everything in between. And we'll provide that information to you as well 2 weeks in advance, so that to kind of help you start building that agenda for your partner breakfast. So just wanted to just explain a little bit more behind the why of the partner assessment and why it's so helpful for us in getting students to your partner breakfast in particular.
Perfect. That's exactly why it works when Chelsea and I both do this call, because she's able to add color and context. October 27th, you'll receive the final communication. So this is around the partner playbook, which is basically a 30,000-foot view of tips and tricks of how to make your experience and also the delegates' experience at Leaders Conference the best possible. And also information on how to access the resume directory, which is your tool to connect with students before, during, and after Leaders Conference. Very important if you want to say, hey, can't wait to see you at Leaders Conference. Come find me at Opportunity Fair, or find me in whatever session, or following up. Thank you for meeting with us. Hopefully you can come work for us. Maybe not worded like that, but October 31st, the shipments, if you're sending shipments for the Opportunity Fair, they must be delivered to the Fern warehouse by that date. And if there'll be more information coming out about that after September 1st. But if there's any questions about Fern or working with Fern, let us know and we can get you connected to the right people. November 10th, this is where you'll have had information sent on how to gain access for your final itineraries on October 27th, but this is where you'll be able to access it on the conference app, which will be your friend during all of conference. They should be individualized. You can figure out where you need to be and when and how many. November 11th, we received a survey asking for feedback. So we welcome any and all feedback of just how to make this experience better in the coming years for both our industry partners, but also our delegates. So this is high level, important dates to keep in mind. The next page we have is a cancellation policy. This is new. Essentially, with the rise of costs associated within the hospitality industry, this just helps mitigate the financial risks that we're liable for with cancellation. So what this means for all of us here is that until October 7th, adjustments and cancellations to your registration must be made just by emailing me, and my email is right here. And so for meals, that's the last day you do cancel without having to cover the cost of the meal that we already purchased. And then also speakers, that's the last day to cancel any team members and replace with another team member October 7th. Obviously, we understand life gets busy and life changes. So if you have any cancellations or changes following October 7th, we'll definitely work with you. We just want to make sure that we're filling people with the right spots and engaging them in the right spots while still engaging your team members. So we'll just work hand in hand following October 7th, but also before October 7th. If you have any questions or concerns about the cancellation policy, just let us know and we're happy to discuss it further. The next page we have is the hotel rooming block. These links you can follow to reserve the hotel room for your team, hopefully multiple hotel rooms. And they should be made by October 1st or until the room block fills. And then here's some additional information about parking. And here's the part that we've all been waiting for. Here's the agenda and how we want to engage your team at Leaders Conference. First and foremost, pre-conference, would love to include some of your partner swag in our delegate swag bag. Please deliver them or ship them to the AFA office between October 1st and the 31st. And we're working internally with the Porsche and we'll get them all organized, and then we'll bring them to the venue for Leaders Conference. We'd love if they're not larger or heavier than a standard water bottle, but this is a great way to get your branding and awareness out there, and so that students can use. I know as an AFA alumni, I still use a lot of partner swag, even in my current role. Thursday, we kick things off November 10th. We have 4 to 9 p.m. a conference check-in in the Sheraton Hotel lobby. And then we launch into a welcome reception and dinner with track 4. Would love to invite one of your team members to participate. It's from 4 to 7. Do you have any color to add to this, Chelsea?
Sure, yeah. The only thing I would say about this one in particular is this is a great opportunity for somebody on your team who isn't too familiar with AFA. So maybe this is their first leaders conference and they want to learn a little bit more about who we are and what we do. This would be a great way for them to understand what leaders conference is all about and get to experience that with a student, and dinner is served as well. So just one team member for this opportunity, preferably somebody who doesn't know too much about us.
Perfect, thanks, Chelsea. Moving later in the evening from 6 to 8 p.m., we have an AFA alumni social. So anyone who is an alumni or anyone you know who's alumni, would love to have them engage with us at the social. And then we have 2 times to set up the opportunity fair. We have 7 to 8 p.m. and then we have the next morning on Friday. But this is the first opportunity to set up your booth. Mocktails reception kicks off at 8:30 Thursday evening, and this is just for informal networking opportunities. As we all know, probably being in the ag industry, a learned skill is how to balance a drink and maybe a snack, as well as shaking hands or networking in an informal setting. And so this just provides an opportunity for juniors, track 3 and 4, right, Chelsea? Yes.
Correct, yeah.
Yep, track 3 and 4 to learn that skill and just network and swap some business cards and interact with our industry partners in a way outside of formal programming. So it's a great way. Happening at that, so 5 people there, up to 5 people there at the mocktails. Happening at the same time is the Ice Cream Connect. Maybe you can divide and conquer your team here a little bit. We'd love, and this is a typo, apologies. It's supposed to be freshmen and sophomore, so track 1 and 2 for the Ice Creams Connect. For this, of note, probably not many folks have had an opportunity to network yet when you're that soon in college. So this is a great opportunity for maybe some of your higher energy extroverts within your organization that are not afraid to break up the social circle and to get in there, start a conversation, make them feel a little bit more at ease. And it's also a great opportunity to begin, foster, and steward that relationship from freshman, sophomore, and then all the way until you see them again at mocktail reception as juniors and seniors later in their college career. That is Friday or Thursday, big day, but not as big as Friday. Friday, we kick off at 9:15 to 10:30 for one team member. It's a Solutions You Care About roundtable. And before I hand it over to Chelsea, I'm gonna hop back up here too. This is the second time we can set up the opportunity fair booth from 7:30 to 9:30. So taking it over to Chelsea to talk a little bit about Solutions You Care About.
For sure. So for Solutions You Care About, this is a roundtable discussion. So your team member will have a roundtable all to themselves filled with other students who are interested in the conversation, which is focused all around problem solving in the ag industry. More information is going to be sent out a little bit later on those different topics, but essentially when you're thinking of a team member that would be a good fit here, somebody who is maybe a decision maker within your company, somebody who is really good within problem solving, they would be ideal for this. And it doesn't really matter if it's entry level or CEO, somewhere in between is perfectly fine. We'll also have a training session on this virtually ahead of time to set your team member up for success, along with all of these other roundtables that we'll dive into. But really just looking for somebody to bring that knowledge to this discussion, focus all around that competency.
Thanks, Jesse. From 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. we have the opportunity fair, and that might look a little different for each person, but we'll just work with Fern to iron out any details individual to your team. From 12 to 1:30, I'm gonna hop around a little bit. So a team member of yours is who is participating in the executive forum, which happens later on Friday, is invited to participate in the board luncheon here, just to have just lunch with our AFA board of directors. During that same time, we had the opportunity for lunch from 12 to 1. And then what I referenced before was the executive forum on stewarding change, and I'll pass it over to Chelsea. This is the same individual that is invited to the AFA board of directors luncheon. Chelsea?
Yeah, for sure.
And also, if you want to talk about the transition to work roundtable too while you're at it.
Yes, I can. So, Executive Forum on Stewarding Change. This is also a roundtable discussion where one of your team members will be seated at a table with our track 3 students, which are junior seniors. And essentially, they're going to be talking about how they facilitate change within their organization. And that really ties back to the first part of that title, executive. Executive can mean something very different at various organizations. So when you think of the type of person we're trying to engage in the conversation, it can be anyone from, we've engaged CEOs in the past, those with director in their title, those who are decision makers within your organization that can help facilitate that conversation all around change management, and how it applies to your organization. Really quickly, also on the board of directors luncheon, this person is invited to that luncheon. Of course, our board of directors will be there, which is fantastic, but also our track 4 students will be there as well. So our juniors and seniors, they are wanting to make connections with you all. They are there to get to know you all a little bit more. And what it kind of looks like at the table setting is each table will be hosted by a board of director, and then the remaining seats will be filled by those students and also industry professionals. So from your perspective, it's a great way to get to know AFA a little bit more, but then also great way to network with our students and have some of that peer-to-peer networking as well. Also, on the transition to work roundtable, so that's from 3 to 4:15. This is another roundtable discussion. And really, the type of team member we're looking for here is going to be on that HR side. So, somebody who can speak to what it's like to move from college to full-time career. HR would be ideal. However, if there's somebody on your team who's passionate about that, in particular, has some experience potentially, would love to engage them in the conversation as well. There is more information in the attachments that Mercedes sent on all 3 of these speaking sessions. And there will also be a hosted webinar for each of those once we confirm your team member to share a little bit more about the objectives of the session, what they can expect, a rough timeline, that sort of thing. So, any questions so far on what those speaker opportunities are, or kind of who we're looking for? Awesome. Mercedes, I'll kick it back over to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. From 3 to 6 p.m., we have an industry and collegiate professional social. So this is taking feedback that we've received from industry in past years of, you're in Kansas City, you may have traveled a long ways to Kansas City, and you might be bumping elbows with people that you used to work with, or that you may be currently working with, and that you may work with in the future. So this is a good way to informally network with both industry and collegiate professionals. Just have some business to business time prior to the Bridge Builder celebration, which is 6:30 to 9. The kicking off with the reception from 6:30 to 7:15, and that's where you can network with both industry collegiate professionals as well as delegates. And then we have dinner from 7:30 to 9. Taking a step back, Bridge Builder Celebration is where we just celebrate and honor alumni that are making really big steps within their ag industry. Those nominations for the BBC is due September 2nd. And there should be an attachment in the email that I sent originally where you can nominate and fill out the form. But we welcome any and all nominations for AFA alumni. So that's Friday. Wow. Big long day. And then it transitions us into a great, beautiful morning on Saturday, November 12th. From 7 to 7:45, we have a partner breakfast. This is just a great space for you to engage with and network in more of an intimate setting. It's early, so it's the end of the conference, so everyone's going to be exhausted, including industry and delegates and staff for sure. So we highly recommend really high energy or engaging activities just to get people up and going, moving around the space, or if there's games or activities that you've found that works in the past or that you're curious to use some guinea pigs on, this is the space to do it. A wonderful way for students to experience your organization in a different way other than speaking opportunities and dinner. And we'll send out information of who will be joining you at your partner breakfast. And this is an example of why it's important that we receive the partner breakfast assessment so that we know who to place in your room and who you're looking for. And then we'll send that out information prior to Leaders Conference so you can get prepared of who you'll be interacting with. But that is partner breakfast, and that's the end of Leaders Conference. Any questions?
Nice overview. Thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you. Madeline, you have a question.
Yeah, so you mentioned contacting students before, during, and after the conference. I wanted to clarify what opportunities are appropriate to contact students with after the conference. For example, when we're hiring or we have posted new positions for our plot program, which is our internship program, or other opportunities within the company that students might be interested in. Is that an appropriate use of that contact information?
Yes.
I agree. I would say so, Maddie. So those students have previously expressed interest in knowing more about your organization, and so they have that inherent want for that knowledge. I would also say you're going to make so many connections at Leaders Conference. You'll collect many business cards, and you'll also have access to what we call a resume directory. That's basically a virtual search-based criteria platform where you can go and look for students based on major, university, class status, etc. And it's there for you to make connections. LinkedIn is another great tool. So yes, would definitely encourage you to continue the conversation with those students after Leaders Conference for those different opportunities, whether it be internship, full-time careers, or if you're just wanting to collect some student voice on something in particular, I would use those resources.
Great, thank you for clarifying.
Well, you make our job very easy. Thank you for joining us. I'll go ahead and stop recording. We're going to upload this to YouTube, and then we'll send the links out for any of your team members that weren't able to join us, or for anyone that wasn't able, or if you just need a refresh